Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Thoughtful Banter podcast. I'm your host, Matty, along here with my co-host, Hussein.
Yes, sir.
This is episode in the 30s, something maybe 35 of Thoughtful Banter. In this episode,
30-something dinky.
30-something, we're going to talk about Marifa. We're going to talk about how the conference was, our review of it, pros, the cons. We're going to talk about Ramadan, and we're also going to talk about some random topics because it's a podcast. The chapters for all of those topics will be down below, so you can skip through the podcast and get to what you want to get to. But before we get into the topics, Hussein is going to shout out the amazing patrons who sponsor this podcast. Make sure to join them because they are the reason we can do this.
As always, we shout out the patrons before every podcast. So we got our very new, minted, fresh patron, Reza. We got Deadman. We got Asad, Ali, Ahmed, Latifa, Ali, TJM, Justin, Muhammad, and Jordan. Thank you guys so much for your support. Of course, we always appreciate it.
SubhanAllah. Yeah, the patrons, we haven't been pushing the Patreon that often because you don't want to always continue to really push it, but I want to start pushing a little bit more because I want to go harder in the paint with this.
Yeah, I mean, the patrons, honestly, they are the people that allow us to improve our equipment. So any improvement in audio or visuals that you've seen have basically been as a result of the money that our patrons have put in our pocket to improve our podcast. We've put we put money into this out of pocket, but a lot of the improvements from the beginning have been because of them. So, of course, it goes without saying that we rely on them and we need them and we love some more.
Yeah. Shout out to y'all.
To keep improving the podcast.
Yes, sir. And we love money. No. But yeah, I think, was it not last week, the week before last week, we were in Chicago. We had the pleasure. Yeah. We got flown out. Well, we flown ourselves out, but we got invited. I feel like I was flown out because we got invited to attend the conference officially as, I guess, people who are having like their own booth and stand. Yeah. We're at the Marifa conference. This was a third conference of theirs, I believe. Correct?
So they had the first one in Boston. Yeah. And then there was one that was online. That was over COVID.
I don't think that one counted, bro. To me.
I think this is the fourth conference because they had 2021. I mean, 2020, like right before the pandemic. Literally, like right before the pandemic in Boston.
That was a lit conference. Yeah.
And then they had, because that was like end of February, I think.
I believe so. And then they had one online.
And they had the one online that was 21. Mm-hmm. And they had 22, and this was 23. 22 was in D.C. Yeah. I barely went to that one because we had like other commitments and stuff.
Yeah, but we met Zunair. Yeah, because he was here for that.
Yeah. So that was a year ago is when we had Zunair on the podcast. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I know time flies. Like
it really does. So this
hate to sound like an old head, but
So this was, I guess, our fourth conference.
Yeah.
We had the pleasure of going to the. I guess you want to go first. You want to give me your favorites or your pros and then your cons, or how do you want to do it?
I mean, I'll just talk about like the first night. So we were, I guess, invited to have a booth. So there were a whole bunch. We were one of many vendors that had their own products and things that they were selling or causes that they were trying to promote. I think we were the only podcast, and we had like, we also had like the least amount of like displayable stuff on our table. But I think we got a lot of good interaction. There were a lot of people who came up. I don't know, across like all social media platforms, it was probably like 50 followers. 60 followers.
Yeah, more like 60 followers. We got like 50 new IG followers across, just from interactions.
Instagram and YouTube, basically like primarily the two main ones that we pushed. We should have had a Patreon, but across those two was like 60 new followers, which was a lot more than I was expecting. Honestly, I really didn't know what to expect as far as reception, especially considering like the fact that, again, we had like such little displayable content. Just because, I mean, maybe we could have done more, but also the nature of a podcast is like, what are you going to show besides you guys talking? But I think we did a good job at talking. So
yeah, I think it's crazy because a lot of people didn't know who we were, but they were willing to come up and get interviewed. Because people see like those reels where people just get interviewed and they know it's fun and they liked it. So we probably had like at least 15 people.
We had like 12 to 15 interviews, like legitimate interviews.
And some of them you guys have actually seen. We're not done with them. I just wanted to save some of them out of once. I don't want to post them all at once. Yeah. But we had some, I think, really fun conversations with people. Yeah. and it was just really nice actually meeting people. Like I met a brother there who literally was like, dude, I've been watching ever since Unair's been on, bro. And I was like, dude, you're gassing us up. But it's really cool, like, to actually meet people.
Yeah.
Who listen
and
to
it'll
it.
be interesting to see how the people that we met there also interact with our content. Because, like, maybe they had an idea. Maybe we gave them an idea of something that when they actually see it, they don't vibe with. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe they didn't like us, but they, decided to follow or whatever. And actually will end up enjoying some of the content that we put out. So it's just interesting to seeing how that will affect like our growth and how that will affect our audience and maybe the things that they prefer, the things that they dislike. Anyways, yeah. Without getting too much into like the data analytics of it.
You're definitely that's
so
some
that
nerdy
was
stuff.
that was the first night, and that basically took up most of the time. They had the poetry, which that's like a staple. It's like a Marifa staple. I think they did a really good job on that because they had performances in multiple languages, and whatever was not in English, they had the lyrics in the language and then like the English translation on the screen. So I thought it was really nice. I thought that went crazy, honestly.
I think that was the best time. This is only my second time I'm out of it, but I think there's a huge improvement between the first time and this time.
Yeah.
Like you don't usually see conferences in my experience improve that fast. So I really do feel like the team is taking the feedback.
I mean, one of the things that we were talking to Layla about
exactly
when we interviewed her, it was like the very first one, how cultural it felt in there. It was
how Desi culture it felt. Yeah, and she literally said that's something we're gonna work on.
Yeah,
and now it was improved a lot.
It's awesome. It's awesome to see that kind of implementation because there was representation and there was like an appreciation and acknowledgement of like several different cultures. It wasn't like an over domination, and like everyone participated. So one of the critiques that I had of the first time that they did it was that anything that wasn't in Urdu right, was like given no love. it was dead quiet. It was dead AF in there. It was super dead in the room. But this time they did a really good job of like and then also credit to the performers. Some of our boys performed in Farsi,
yes, sir.
In English as well, so they did a really good job. Everyone did a really good job. It was really nice.
Yeah. So I think as far as we can get into like the pros and cons, I think not to jump too much into the cons because I think the pros are so obvious with Marifa. I think it's a vastly beneficial experience. I don't think there's too much to improve on. Like it's a conference, it's supposed to be educational. You're supposed to network with people and meet people.
Yeah.
So I'll just say I think it was great. I do think some of the like the theme being sanctuary kind of felt at some points vague, but that's not necessarily the fault of the conference. That's just the theme requires you to dive deep into it a little bit. But I don't think that every on the second day where like there's workshops, I don't know. At least I didn't understand myself how every workshop played into the theme of what a sanctuary is. I feel like there could have been more. I feel like some of the workshops could have maybe played directly into the theme more obviously. Maybe I didn't fully get it.
Well, that's true. I think also most of those themes could have and could have played into like some, like you can make almost anything. Like I feel like almost anything can be a sanctuary, and from that lens, there are a lot of things that could, like a lot of those topics could have. I just think in the execution, and again, this is not really on Marifa, and maybe it is. Maybe you can argue they should have vetted the presentations more thoroughly, or made that connection more clear. But I think overall it was pretty good. One critique I do have is that sometimes it felt like they were really stretching to make some things have more content or like be more about sanctuary than they actually were. Like some things I just don't think were that deep. And then you sit there and you read this prompt and it's like, how do we make this and that and this and this, and how do we make these things more like sanctuaries in our lives? And you're like, bro, it's a job, bro.
Yeah,
it's a job. And like perhaps again, perhaps there is an argument to be made for like, okay, how do we make our jobs, like in our work, actual sanctuaries, so that we're not hating ourselves while we're there. But I didn't always get that from the prompts that we were given. And then I think my last critique, which is not actually my critique, is someone else's, was that the specific career thing that they did, I think because the age cap was 25, and even a lot of the participants weren't 25. A lot of the participants were more like between 18 and 22. A lot of them didn't actually have experience in the fields that they were interested in or like talking about. A lot of them were students, right? Or like, oh, I'm going to med school. I'm not in healthcare. So I can't even speak to like the specific problems that arise in these kind of fields because I don't have the experience. And I can't even speak to how to navigate those problems and make my space a sanctuary in spite of those problems. Again, because you don't have the experience. Like I think the most experienced person at like the law table was like someone who was in law school, you know, and it was like they're not even a lawyer yet, you know, so like stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe sprinkling in some more. That kind of goes to one con I had, which is kind of related, but wasn't directly related with in terms of the workshops. But you kind of run into a problem because on one hand, this should be, I believe, a conference for youth. But I don't know how you would do this, but maybe designating, like not opening up the conference to people who are already in their careers, like in their 30s, but maybe asking
designating specific people
to come and mentor for certain topics, to be there, maybe be chauffeurs, because there is a mentorship table that one of our dear friends was actually at. I don't know if he wants his name on it, but like there is a great mentorship table, and our friend was basically there helping like new college students. He was mentoring them for that, right? Maybe there should be people coming to mentor just for other things. Yeah. You know, especially if there's going to be specific topics, like there is topics like medicine, information technology, law at a lot of these tables. Maybe we could have had a couple of those people who are veterans in those fields.
Yeah. I also think in general, and I think what Marifa does, like the leadership does, as far as like phasing out kind of the older leadership, because it's supposed to be a student ran and it's for students. But I feel like sometimes, again, maybe they do like a designation thing, and maybe this is what they did. I have no idea because I'm not like behind the scenes, but I did feel as if there was missing that like maturity sprinkle, that like a little experience sprinkle.
And it wasn't immature.
Yeah, it wasn't. Because
I want to say like the vibes of everyone. Yo, can I say something crazy in terms of the vibes of Marifa?
Yeah.
And I said this several times to people there. I'm not making this up. When I was at Marifa, sometimes I thought I had died and I had risen, and I was like at like the 4th to 5th level of heaven. Because I felt like I was looking around and I just saw like a bunch of beautiful mu'min, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like people like really not like, I felt like I had died and I had met people like just like beautiful faces.
Yeah.
Like it was very good energy. I didn't get like any kind of immaturity. Very mature audience there. Like the people there, Marifa, good soul, good Muslim brothers, bro. Bro, I met this dude there. You know this story. I met a dude at Marifa who I was friends with when I was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen in 19 years. And I saw him at Marifa, and I'm like, bro, where you from, bro? And somehow we made the connection.
That was crazy.
Crazy.
And you know what was crazy is because I remember I was like at that camp. That camp usually happened before your birthday, but it was after my birthday. So whenever there was like a cutoff between the groups, right, I'd always be up and you'd be like in the group below me. So it was me and him in the group above in the beginning, and then like the next year you and Haggy came. So that was like super crazy. Yeah, absolutely insane.
I had a great time over there. I don't want like the critiques to be taken like too much.
Dude, yeah.
Great time.
I think overall, like as a conference, it was a solid like 8.5.
8.5. And I would say the only way to clean it up maybe is to make sure the workshops pertain more exactly to the theme of what the conference is. I don't want to name any workshops specifically because like I don't want like it be like too directly at someone. Yeah. But like there are some workshops that I didn't really fully get. Like it kind of felt like too vague and more like why not like this is a therapy session, but just like we're just all talking about our feelings here, but it's not very directly actionable in our education of like, what am I going to do in my lively matters? Instead it's like, we're all just having like a group huddle talk.
Yeah. That sometimes I felt like to your point about vagueness, I just felt like what are we talking about exactly?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, what is this?
Like, what are we talking about? You kind of get the feel of like, you know, intellectuals, academics sitting in the ivory tower, chatting about things and making these like, you know, scenarios and theoretical and like hypotheticals about the world that actually have little application in the actual world. So, and I think I feel like where that kind of more mature guidance could have played a big role. And I felt like maybe that was missing.
I think so. Like, especially for someone like me who like, I'm not there for like, I am not enjoying these super long hypothetical, like PhD master's conversations going on for hours and hours. I'm the kind of dude that I'm like, all right, bro, tell me how I can apply this to myself Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here on the weekend. How's my Monday different? Because if my Monday's not different, this is all nice, but I don't really care. At the end of it, it doesn't really impact my life. And I think I'm not the only person that maybe thinks that way a lot of times. I have a critique that maybe is a little bit controversial. But I think, I know when I went to Marifa first year, I was thinking this, and I know I'm witnessing it in some people around me, that people are going to Marifa in hopes of finding a future spouse. Yeah. You know, I don't think that's a bad idea because
I think it's pretty like a natural thing.
Natural.
Especially when you get people in that age range.
Yeah. Especially people who are that religious, that motivated. I think it's great. You know what I'm saying? But
not to say that the purpose of the conference is that,
yeah,
or that they're even coming for that necessarily, but it's like that is something that's in a lot of these people's minds.
Yeah, they're probably thinking, you know, maybe I'll find a nice brother, maybe I'll find a nice sister there. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's a conference that brings together like-minded people who care enough to be in a space of just Muslims, people who are motivated enough to go there. Even small things like someone who's able to even fly out there, maybe show something. You know what I'm saying? Like, this person maybe has their life together a little bit. They can coordinate a plane ride. They can get a hotel, lodging, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good place to find some mature adults.
Like-minded people, yeah.
Yeah. There's this issue with Muslim. There's an issue with Muslims meeting each other nowadays because we run into an issue because we don't have one culture anymore. So let's say from an Iranian perspective, for example, if I see a sister at like some kind of khasagari, if I see a sister at like some kind of like at the masjid or at like a family friend's house, I know, all I gotta know is I see her, I like her, I'm like, okay, she's cute. Let me talk to my mom and dad. And then my mom and dad might talk to her mom and dad.
I think what you're saying is there are like formal cultural avenues and routes that you know are like surefire ways to go down.
Exactly. So, thank you. There are from our parents' generations, like for many of us back home, there are cultural avenues that we all know of that are the proper routes,
the proper channels
when you have the right intentions to meet somebody, which we don't have now, which is confusing because let's say this, for example, I have the best of it. Let's say I'm single. Let's say I have the best of intentions. I want to get married. I want to do no haram business, but I'm trying to meet a sister and see what she's about. I see her at a conference. Her parents ain't there. There's not a matrimonial system in place. Let's say I was talking to her at my table, whatever. What should I do? Should I get her? Maybe I should get her Instagram. Maybe I should get her number. But what if she gets a wrong impression by that? Maybe she's thinking this guy's looking for something else. This guy's a goofy. His goofy. He's not really serious, right? Or maybe I'm thinking, okay, I don't do that. And then the sister's maybe thinking, oh, he's not serious. He doesn't like me. Because how is he going to get back in touch with me?
Yeah.
So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't nowadays, right? And this is confusing. And I think everyone at these places, I assume everyone there has the best of intentions. These are good people, I think. They're coming to a conference about Islam.
Yeah.
And these are some boring religious nerds, right? Let's just get all like anyone thinking anything negative out the way, right?
Yeah.
I think what should happen with conferences like this, though, because we know so many single people are coming to the place looking for potentials, I think there should be some kind of system. I'm not saying it should even be a workshop necessarily, but some kind of system of, hey, if you're interested in this brother at this table, come talk to this person.
Yeah.
Or come talk to this sister.
Maybe some like, so here's the thing, and I think this might be like why they don't do this, is because you don't want to make the conference about marriage or about getting married, and so it's kind of hard to thread that needle between having a space where you can meet like-minded people, and if there is something of interest that happens, you kind of have an avenue to pursue that, and then becoming Muslim Congress or like another one of these conferences with that specifically have like these matchmaking programs.
But maybe and I think the Marifa team is super smart, so I think there are ways to work around that.
I think so. I'm just saying, like, just playing devil's advocate.
Lots of logistics.
Yeah.
I don't think it's easy, but I just know, like, the fact of the matter is a lot of people there are looking for potentials, but there's not systems in place.
Yeah.
I think to make lives easier for Muslim Americans, we need to create a system that lets us know who's serious about marriage or not. Because you're coming there, and you're talking to people, and people are being friendly, and that's normal.
Yeah.
But, like, how do I know the sister is being friendly, or the sister's actually hoping she's actually there to get married, and she's maybe looking for hubby? How do I distinguish myself?
You just said hubby. Anyways, continue.
How do I distinguish myself? You know what I'm saying? Because all these good guys and women, they're trying to distinguish themselves. They're not trying to be goofy, but it's like, how do I do that? Do I slide in the DMs? That seemed kind of goofy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think
I see what you're saying. And
I see what you're saying. Yeah. But I think maybe it could be something like, hey, last day of the conference, there's this 3-hour program only for the people who are trying to get married, and like there's adults there, and like I don't know. Or maybe it's like during the conference, with your name tag there's a number, and you go and talk to like
on your form, are you trying to get married?
Yeah. But seriously, maybe there's some like residential aunties, saying like, oh, by the way, I talked to this brother at this table, or this brother Hussein number 23. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know. Put in a word for me.
No, yeah. I mean, it's hard, and I understand why there might be a hesitance or like rejection from the organizers for doing that. But I also see what you're saying in the sense that like it's an inevitability. Yeah. So we're probably better off with systems in place than without systems in place. Yeah. So I can see both sides. Yeah.
And again, like damned if you do, damned if you don't. I understand they're under a lot of pressure because if they do that, people get angry. Like,
exactly.
Why are you encouraging this?
And why are you making it about this? And like, yeah.
And then the other people like me are like, why don't you facilitate halal avenues? What's your purpose, guys?
And then I mean, they might make the argument that like, even if this is like a byproduct, that's not what we want to be focused on at all. Like, we literally want like nothing to do with that. Yeah. Which is also like a legitimate argument. I mean, you can any argument has a counter argument, right? But like, I can also understand that position at the same time. That's all I'm saying. It's complicated.
It is complicated. Yeah. But overall, great conference.
Yeah, agreed.
We hope to be coming again, inshallah. Great vibes with the people. A lot of fun after the conference. You know what I'm saying? Sir. Just hanging out, talking to like 4 or 5 a.m. Haven't done that in a minute.
Bro, I was like...
stayed up like that in years.
My freaking gas tank, if you like... I was on empty by the time the conference finished.
After day 1, I was really dead.
Yeah, bro.
I flew
a traveling.
With like 3 hours of sleep.
We stayed up so late.
Oh, dude, we stayed up till Fajr. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it was fun, man.
It was fun. Fun. I mean, that's the reason you go to these things, right? Yeah. Like, you're not there to sleep.
Yeah, you can sleep when you're back home.
Exactly.
You want to take advantage of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's it for Marifa.
Yeah, so that wraps up our Marifa recap. If any of the Marifa team is listening, please no hard feelings.
Yeah, please keep bringing us, inshallah. Please keep, we love what you guys are doing. It's
absolutely. And again, like, you're not gonna please everyone, and that might just include us.
Yeah. Like, I'm about to say, we don't expect us to say you might not please everyone, but please thoughtful banter.
Exactly. Yeah.
The only thought. No, I get it. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's probably been in the conference, but anyways, moving on. Ramadan's coming up this week.
Yes.
You ready?
Ready. So I went to Houston last Ramadan for like 5 days. And so I didn't fast. And I'm an idiot.
Astaghfirullah, bro.
I'm an idiot and waited too long. So I've been making up my fast, and I think I have. So today's as of recording this, today's Sunday. So I have Monday and Tuesday, and those are my last 2 days. My last 2 days of fasting that I need to make up. So because I think Ramadan is either Wednesday or Thursday. So yeah, I'm making up fast. So in the sense of like my body being ready for the fasting aspect, I think I'm pretty good because I've like gotten used to it. The last couple of days I've been fasting. In terms of spiritually, have I gotten a chance to sit down, write my Ramadan goals, do all that stuff? No, but that will be happening soon, inshallah. What about you?
I thought it was. I don't think I am.
I mean,
Ramadan is always like kind of like sneaks up on you, and it's like, but it's funny because it's like I was trying to do Ramadan. Maybe this is too personal. I was trying to do Ramadan preparedness earlier on, but I'm trying to find, like spirituality. You're about to start roasting me for my metaphors. Spirituality
is like the gym.
It's like the gym. It's like, like you want to find that right amount of frequency and volume.
Yeah.
And that's really been a challenge for me to find the right frequency and volume with like my spiritual practices. So I hope it's going to be a productive Ramadan, but like I'm trying to just set my goals to be very, very simple.
Yeah.
Because again, my problem with the gym and the spirituality is too much volume.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in and
or too much intensity.
Too much intensity or volume, and it's like I just got to be consistent and simple to not burn myself out.
Yeah, and I think navigating this needs to be like, I don't know. I feel like people need to talk about this, but like the jump from like participating and experiencing Ramadan as a kid to participating and experiencing Ramadan as a working adult is like night and day. Like
it's so different.
Like the difference is crazy.
Especially for us growing up, because we had camps. Our parents would take us to. We were at the masjid every night.
Basically every night, like very involved. If we weren't at the masjid, we were at someone's house. Like
every night.
Yeah,
every night was something. You know what I'm saying?
And so it was always like fun. And then like you do things like you sleep throughout the day.
Yeah,
and then
because we're homeschooled too, so our parents just let us sleep in the whole day, and
you like sleep throughout the day. You wake up at like 4 or 5, and then you only have a couple hours until Maghrib, and then you stay up all night. Like that was like our tradition. We like stayed up all night
playing Call of Duty. Let's be honest.
I mean, sometimes that, but even like just with my family, like my sisters or whatever, we'd stay up all night, vibe, eating like here and there throughout the night, and then we'd have the big meal together, pray, and then everyone go back to sleep, rinse and repeat. Right?
And wake up at 2 p.m. Yum and delicious. 2 p.m. now.
And now that's not happening. Like you got to get in bed on time. You got to wake up for Fajr. You got to wake up for Suhoor. You can't be like staying up because you just
work during the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I work kind of later in the day. Like I don't work at 8. I work at 10. So and I usually wake up earlier. Like I usually wake up Fajr and then start my day. Like I just stay awake. I think what I'm going to do in Ramadan is probably wake up for Fajr and then just go to sleep and then wake up until I literally can't be asleep. Yeah. And then just drive to work.
And then it's like also like for me trying to balance like training in there as well. Whether that be like jujitsu or the gym. It's like, okay, so do I wait until like right before iftar, like I'm basically completely depleted because I've had nothing in my system for the last couple hours, or do I try to get up early before like a couple hours before Fajr so I can like work out, eat, and then pray? But it's like, is that realistic? Not really. Like how often are you gonna wake up and like what gym is gonna be open at like 3 a.m.?
That's the only problem
for
with
you to do that.
Planet Fitness isn't a great gym, but the ones here are open 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's the only benefit.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, or then you can go after, like immediately after Fajr, but then you're also like tired. Like the thing, whenever I fast and I work out, I am so tired. Like afterwards.
You're depleted for the rest of the day.
Yeah, the rest of the day. Unless you get like a thick nap in.
Yeah, no, you want to, so I rather have a really weak workout, but be able to eat afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Because I get what you're saying. So I think what I'm going to probably do is if I can, I'm going to train before Maghrib and then pray, break my fast.
But then also if you're like attending masjid programming, like all those things happen like right, but like the lecture or whatever starts an hour like before Maghrib, or like an hour and a half before Maghrib. So it's also balancing that kind of stuff. But anyways, I'm excited.
I don't know fully what I'm gonna do. I think I'm definitely gonna keep my routine simple. I've been doing this thing where I've been just running a mile every day and doing like trying to work out every day instead of like every other day.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been like lowering my intensity so I can continue to do that. In Ramadan, I don't intend to stop running, and I'm just gonna with the weights. I'm just gonna have the frequency and the volume to be really low.
Yeah,
because I like going every day. For right now, I feel like keeps me consistent.
Yeah. I feel like I've been out of my groove, and maybe that might help. But yeah, I mean, Ramadan vibes.
I just really, the only thing about working during Ramadan that I really don't like is I love just staying up in Ramadan.
Yeah,
like staying up with everyone, just talking and drinking tea and just. The banter, bro. Like, that's the real thoughtful banter.
Exactly.
Just, you at the masjid, you're doing long Q&A with Sheikh. You're just, you're asking all them questions you want to ask. And only you and your boys are there. Like, those are the good times, But, I don't know. Like, working, man. Yeah. Working ain't for me, bro.
I want our listeners to, like, tell us what they're looking forward to in Ramadan. And if you're comfortable sharing, like, any specific goals you might have during Ramadan as well. Whether it be spiritual, physical, learning a skill or something.
Aren't you trying to lose 20 pounds, bro?
No, 20 pounds was a joke, but yeah, inshallah, we'll see.
Bro, I think we gotta move on to Creed.
Creed. What do you mean?
I don't know what's a plan to talk about, but we gotta talk about
it. All right, go.
So we saw Creed last night.
Impromptu movie review.
Dude, that movie was unrealistic. So unrealistic, but I don't care. That show was so lit, bro.
It was so
honestly, like, we're watching the theater with, like, our family, like, and our wives, and, like, Jose and I just keep looking at each other during the training segments, like, bro, I'm trying to get right, bro. That's all I'm thinking. I look like Michael B. Jordan, bro. I watched this movie. I'm like, I can't believe I took my family to see this movie, bro. Look at this dude, bro. I'm trying to look dummy right, bro.
Also, like, it was decent acting in that movie. I don't
think it was decent. I think it was good. It was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make any sense.
No.
So here's the thing. Sometimes movies. So here's the difference between a bad movie and a good to great movie, right? Bad movies don't make sense, and they take you out of the experience because they don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But a good movie cannot make sense, but the experience isn't depreciated because of that, and it's still lit. This was that. Like, it didn't make sense. I don't know how this non-pro boxer got a shot at that title straight out of prison.
Straight out of prison, his first shot back. Bro, he's literally not a pro. Like, he's not a pro. It literally would have been impossible. The state would have been like, even if we wanted, like, the state sanctioning body, the athletic commission, they would have been like, even if we want to sanction this bout, we literally can't, because he's not a pro.
What obsessed me is that it could have been really easy to make that make sense.
Yeah.
Like, I was saying, like, how come in the writing, spoilers, I don't care though. How come, like, in the movie, Jonathan Majors, he pulls up to the gym, like, straight after prison? How come he could have been like, yeah, I was released like 2 years ago. I just got my pro card, like, and I was training like in Boston or California or something.
Yeah.
And I was in the area. I wanted to say what's up.
Yeah.
It could have just been that.
Like, he worked his way up.
But instead I just came out of prison, man. I need this shot. I won it.
And then you're
like, living my life.
And then it's like, okay, like, who's promoting this fight? Like, where are they getting the money for this fight? Yeah. Like,
they kind of skipped over all of that.
Yeah. I mean, of course, like, no one wants to get into the details. Like, people who are not watching boxing, they don't care. The only reason I even, like, know about, like, athletic commissions and stuff like that is because I kind of keep an eye on it. But, like, for the average, like, moviegoer, they're not into the freaking politics of boxing, you know? Like, so.
But the fight scenes, bro.
They were good,
fight scenes. That don't look crazy, bro. Like, I don't know what kind of it did kind of look like CGI.
Yeah, like a video game.
It looked exactly like those boxing video games.
No,
I can't tell if that was because of two things. One, the quality was ridiculous. It was out this way, like the shots. I don't know if the quality was just so high that it kind of looked fake, because that happens sometimes. or I don't know if it's because the movement of the camera, the way the camera was moving, you're thinking like a lot of CGI fight scenes are because the action is happening. It's so improbable to film that you know it's CGI because of that. Yeah. So I don't know if it's actually just the way the camera is moving or if it was literally CGI.
Yeah. Also, like,
it was crazy though. The anime references were clear.
I knew every single thing that was gonna happen, and somehow it was still amazing.
Yeah, the boxing. It was very lit, bro. It was a lit movie. It was a lit movie.
Like, I knew every single freaking cliche,
every
single like arc or whatever. Like,
it's always the same, bro.
I know what's gonna happen. Like, the formula for boxing movies
for
is
fighting
there.
movies.
The formula for fighting movies is there. Like, I know what's gonna happen.
He's gonna come back to the sport.
He's gonna come back. He's gonna fight this dude.
He's gonna suffer a loss.
He's gonna lose in the interim or like between fights or whatever. Or he loses the first fight, but in the end he comes back. Yeah. And even in the end, he gets like hit real hard. Yeah. He's about to go out.
Like, oh no! He's gonna get back up. Or I knew like,
but it still works.
It's like showing like a family member that's sickly. He's gonna bury somebody.
Exactly.
Someone's gonna die, or someone's gonna be almost dead and it's gonna get to his head during training, but he gonna come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was very entertaining, bro.
Very entertaining.
Like, the action was lit, and I heard that Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors are like decided that they're like a duo with each other, like De Niro and Al Pacino, which the film industry needs, bro. I think that might save our generation, bro. I'm tired of this Marvel of filmmaking. Like this Marvel movie superhero takeover is cutting like the. I need something different, bro. And I think a male duo does that, bro. Think of the male duos, bro. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate want to be that, they not that. But they made a great point about that. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
You had to be so shook just now when you said that. I was like, what?
You said what? Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Okay.
Me and you. De Niro and Al Pacino. Who else?
Duos, like two people who are always in movies together.
No, just people who like making moves in life.
I don't know, but like the point still stands.
Yeah. You don't need that example. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. They had great chemistry back and forth. They both were so jacked,
bro. I know. Like I know you think I'm like a hater on Michael B. Jordan's acting. I actually don't think he's a bad actor. I just think Jonathan Majors is more better.
He is better. He's older.
Bro, he got them crazy eyes, bro. He got them crazy. Bro, he's not that much older. You keep saying he's older, like there's like a significant difference between it,
bro. Maybe that's why I think. Let me see. How old is Jonathan Majors? Jonathan Majors.
How old is Michael B. Jordan?
Probably 33.
So Michael B. Jordan is 36.
Oh, Jonathan Majors is younger. What? Okay, I get. So he's just a better actor.
Yeah. Bro, he had the like unhinged psychotic dude on lock, bro.
He did have it on lock.
He's
a dog in everything he's in.
He had it on lock.
I might want to watch what's it, Quantum Man?
Is he in it?
He's like Quantum Man, I think, right? He's like the Marvel. He's like the
new
Marvel.
In the Marvel. Yeah.
If he's this much of a dog, I might see that movie.
Bro, was it Top Gun Maverick or something? Wasn't he in that movie?
I didn't see I have no interest in any Top Gun films, and I'm a huge fan.
I think that was a movie, but like and that was a remake, right? But like a lot of people actually really liked that movie, and apparently his performance in that was amazing as well.
He's great in everything, bro.
But that was the movie I was talking about that he had acted in before. Me and Maddie had this whole discussion about whether Jonathan Majors is on steroids or not, given how prevalent that like steroid usage is in the entertainment industry, Hollywood especially. And one of the things I said was like, bro, in Top Gun he wasn't that big, and then he had filmed that just a little bit prior to filming Creed, and he was huge. He was enormous in Creed, but that's neither here nor there.
Don't get me started. Might get started. Have we gotten started or no?
No.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyways, Creed was great.
But Creed was a fun film. I guess I'll just end on this last thing with a Creed point, and this actually transitions into our other topic perfectly because I want to talk about Muslim media space. One thing people forget about movies is I feel like movies can be fun, and people are always looking for like, I just want to have a good time watching a movie. And like a movie can be bad, but if I had a good time watching it, how bad was it? You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't mean to hate on Creed. Like, I want more fun films.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of movies throw like these huge budgets at things, and they suck.
Mm-hmm.
I just want something entertaining. But speaking of entertainment, there is a vacuum in the Muslim media space, and I see there's attempts to fill it. I don't like a lot of the attempts. I think like their show Rami, for example, was an attempt. I think Rami was trash. I think it's a terrible show. I don't respect what the show was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
It was actually promoting degenerative lifestyle.
Uh-huh.
If I rather have zero representation than
that.
trash like Rami, to be perfectly honest
Uh-huh.
with you, I think it's pretty disgusting.
Mm.
Now that I'm done roasting Rami, I think Muslims need to be making media
Mm-hmm.
because we're the only people who know our own stories.
Yeah.
And making media takes a lot of effort, right? It takes budgeting, it takes time. But the easiest form of media that anyone can literally start right now is a podcast. And I just want to I posted this on our Thoughtful Banter story. I want more Muslims making podcasts. I want our friends, like literally our friends who listen, to maybe start a podcast if you think you're up for it.
Yeah.
Because it's easy.
It is easy. One thing I'll say about like representation in media and Rami specifically is what you'll hear from people who like the show, Muslims who like the show, is, let me say that it's hard to, we're talking about threading the needle, right? It's hard to thread the needle and be relevant in the things that you talk about and discuss while also being Islamic. So for example, I think the things that Rami touched on, a lot of them are realities. Unfortunately, a lot of them are realities. And I think our issue is perhaps you could have spoken about those realities without being as vulgar and explicit, and kind of being, kind of going directly against some of the things that Islam does say about how you should present yourself, how you should discuss certain things in a public space, right? So that would be like our critique. And so the issue, the challenge then is like, how do we create this thing that's relevant to us and actually does deal with the issue or talk about the issues, provide nuance and maybe even satire on these issues that do affect Muslim youth, especially living in the West, without being like literally like showing everything,
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you don't do that, then you're not going to have that representation that you want, right? So if you're not as explicit and vulgar or whatever, and you don't fit what the market, the media market wants from you at that specific time, which is oftentimes more than you probably should show as a Muslim, then you're not going to get that representation. So then the question becomes, should we care about that representation?
And I think this kind of goes to that conversation that Sway was having with Kanye West years ago, where Ye was like, "You don't understand, Sway. You don't understand, Sway. I have no I can't." And Sway was like, Kanye, why don't you sell the product yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you start your own website? Go direct to the consumer. Why do you even want to, if you're saying you have these problems with Nike and Puma, whatever, why don't you sell it yourself? And I think it's because when we have to break out of the slave mindset, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
break out the matrix.
why do we care about what Hollywood tells us a Muslim looks like?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I'm watching the show 24 that has like a bajillion seasons, that the whole premise of the show is to spread fear of Muslims after 9/11 to make Americans feel like when troops are dying in Afghanistan that they're fighting terrorists instead of little kids a lot of times, or killing civilians. Why do we care for our enemies to like us, bro?
Mm-hmm. So you're not saying get in the media space like the mainstream media space.
Yeah.
You're kind of saying create our own media institution, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of options now, right? You can sell a show to Netflix. You can put your show on Amazon. And I'm not saying those companies are great, they care, but I'm saying the great thing is you can make a product and then put it on their platform, but instead of working in the Hollywood machine, which is a completely different beast.
Yeah.
It's a lot more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And even then, why can't you can if you get enough crowdfunding, you could put a show up on your own website.
Yeah.
You could if you have a big audience, like let's say you got let's say you have a couple 100,000 followers on Instagram. You can sell tickets to a portal. Hey, $2 a ticket, and then when you buy the virtual ticket online, you have access to the link for the website.
Mm.
Why can't we do that?
Well, I mean, this gets into an even deeper issue, and I don't even know if we have time to talk about this. But a lot of Muslims that are here are also simultaneously obsessed with status in the American conception.
Yes.
And that goes from TV to schools to education, and so instead of the mindset is let's just be the best in those institutions rather than let's create our own institutions, because with that in that institution, if I'm the best, I get a lot more than if I'm the best in this institution, at least as it is today, right? Because there isn't that support yet. It doesn't have any traction in the media, so that's like, we're status obsessed. That's an issue. That's an issue in and of itself.
And I think we're status obsessed.
We're status obsessed to our own detriment, even. Like, yeah, perhaps this public school, they all funnel into like Ivy Leagues after they go to this high school. They all go to, like, most of the students go to Ivy Leagues, but it's like in that high school, what are you sacrificing for your child to be in that environment as far as their religion is concerned?
And we're status obsessed because we're marginal. I think commonly, I'm just my opinion. You tell me, bro. You the one who be reading out here. You know what I'm saying? I think that like we're probably status obsessed because we're part of marginalized groups.
Mm-hmm.
People in marginalized groups are looking for the approval of like the dominant group.
Mm-hmm.
Which happens to be like white rich people.
Yeah.
Essentially, right, in America. But like we're Muslim, bro, and I think that's what makes like, and I think a lot of people have this. You can break it down on a racial level, like different racial groups have these problems of chasing status, and it gets more and more complicated. And I'm like way more complicated than I can understand or I'm qualified to speak on. But I think to wrap it, like to go back to like the source, it's like, alhamdulillah, we're Muslim, and that should make our lives easier, because how Islam works is, all right, you're from here, you're from there, you're this ethnicity, you speak this language. God is what matters. And I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're Asian, I don't care if whatever, I don't care if you're an alien, hypothetically, right? You've decided there's only one God, and Muhammad is his messenger and his last messenger. Everything else is around that. And that should be the focus. And that is what should unite all these different people, all different colors and backgrounds and all of that. So the answer is simple. It's just not easy. About the whole status game.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't even mean to get that woke. I just
want
people to start
that's one thing, but like, you just want some people to start a podcast.
I just want people to start a podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
but sorry, what were you gonna say?
I'm just saying a lot of people don't have your same view. Here's
the thing, though.
That's honestly what it is. So it may be
this is stupid, though. This is stupid. Here's the thing. Let's have an honest conversation about faith, right? Being Muslim many times truly sucks. Truly sucks. If I'm going somewhere and I want to make friends with some new people, right? Muhammad, we're all going to the bar. Come drink with us. You don't think I want to feel included in the group, for example? Maybe not myself. Just think about a Muhammad. Oh, come out, eat with us. We're going to Hooters. Or, hey, we're all single. We're all going to go to the club. We're going to have fun there. Saying no to all those things is hard. Why would I, as a Muslim, choose to live this lifestyle that makes my dunya, my worldly existence, more difficult if I'm not also going to take the benefit? We've talked about this on a podcast before. If we, as Muslims, choose to take on the things that suck, let's take on the benefit.
And what would be the benefit in this situation?
Of Muslim media?
Yeah.
Is for us to create art for us. Like, aren't we tired of seeing movies where the only Muslim guy is a terrorist?
Or like,
or the good Muslim is
or,
a bad Muslim?
Or like, there's like this one hijabi who eventually rebels against her family and takes off her hijab.
Yeah, but she's a good one.
Yeah.
You know, or it's like the good Muslim guy is a guy who's non-religious or non-judgmental, and that means he drinks, but he also fasts and prays. It's just confusion. This media is not for us. This media is made by people who don't like us. They don't like our beliefs. They don't like the way lots of us look. They don't like the way lots of us sound. They don't care about us, bro. Why are we listening to our enemies, bro?
I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. And not like, I just want to make it clear. Of course, we mean like ideological enemies in the sense that like none of their values align with ours.
Yeah.
You know? So like, yeah, I mean, why would I? What was that quote my mom said in the
Malcolm
episode?
X.
Yeah.
The person who ideologically is against you is your enemy, metaphorically.
I don't remember, but like, yeah, that's the type B.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah,
you might have to add some context to that clip, but it's like, I mean, seriously, these, you know, just like the people in the media space, bro. Like, I have watched almost all movies. I feel like I've watched so many movies. You look at all the action movies from 9/11 till now, and if there's a brown person, they're a terrorist. Every single time. You know what I'm saying? All these movies are coming out of Hollywood. This is not. There's an agenda, I guess. Like, but to go back to the point, it's like podcasting is the easiest form of media to start because all you need to have is a good conversation, and a good conversation is beginning to all things. A good conversation is beginning to understanding, to love, to respect, to knowledge, to opportunity. Good conversation is like the first step to almost anything good. And the good thing about us today is that if you have an iPhone or any phone, you can start a podcast. It doesn't even have to be, you don't need to even have cameras, right? I just want to see one Muslim starting a podcast. You can start like I guess like solo podcasts even. I want to like start a podcast revolution, bro, and we can feature on everyone's podcast and they can feature on all of our podcasts, bro, and we get big, bro. We run it.
And then we roll that into like something else, basically.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what we roll into. I'm actually not following you. What we roll into?
Like, if you want to expand, like, from podcasts, like, we'd grow.
Yeah. I see.
I mean.
Yeah. You're already more ahead with me in my own idea, but yeah. We doing that.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Anything else? We're at like 55 minutes.
I think we're good.
Yeah. We're kind of all over the place, but it was nice.
Yeah, we got chapters now. We hadn't recorded it in like maybe 4 weeks.
No, it was like 2, maybe 3.
So yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode. Why did I say with a lift? Episode.
Sound like Mike Tyson.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode of Thoughtful Banter. It's the host Mike with my co-host who's saying anything.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Peace.